This tutorial is how to create a keyhole operation in Carbide Create for your Shapeoko CNC. So basically the first thing you do, for me, I set my stock size. So right now I have a 3-inch envelope basically in my part that I want to make actually two keyholes in. So I set a 3-inch width, 1-inch height, doesn't really matter. You can do whatever you want here. It's based on really where the toolpath 0 point is. For me, I'm selecting the lower left, and I'll show you why in a minute. Stock thickness, my stock is about 3/4 inch. Retract height is standard 10 millimeters. So when you look at the part, basically the toolpath 0 is, for me, this is on the top of the part. So I want the keyholes to go from right to left, or if you think about it, right to left is really bottom to the top. So the keyhole will start down here, or on the right side, come up, and then go back and pull out where the starting point is. So using snap to grid, you get your horizontal lines. That's the way I'm going to do it. So I use snap to grid and the polyline tool. If you didn't see that, this is the polyline tool right here. And your start point is where you want the keyhole to punch through first. So I want about 1/2 inch long keyholes. Unfortunately, when you use the snap to grid, you can't get like between the grids, so I can't really get an accurate measurement. I know it's about 3 inches for my window, so I'm just going to pick 3 squares, and that should get me close enough. And I'll show you when I cut these, how I determine what this toolpath 0 is in relation to where my keyhole pattern is. But if you're just doing a single one, you can just use the polyline, click the toolpath 0, and you click again, and then go back to the original point, click one more time, done, and there's your single keyhole. That's not the way I'm going to do it for this, just because I'm actually making this on a project. So I'm just going to do 3 squares. So click the polyline, start at this point, go to the 0, come back, done. Okay, unselect. I'm going to make the second one, and this is my 3-inch envelope, so I'll make this next one kind of towards the bottom here. Click, 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 and done. So that is, it's 1 point, second point, a third point, and that's it. So those are going to be my 2 keyhole paths. So next thing you do is go to toolpath, select those 2 vectors, and then I'm going to do a contour. And for the tool, I'm just using the 1/4 inch upcut, the standard tool that comes with the machine. I'm going to change my depth per pass, though, to what my actual depth of the keyhole is going to be. So for a 3/4 inch stock, I'm going to use about 0.32 inches on the depth per pass. And then the spindle or the feed rate. So I'm going to slow this down to about 20 inches per minute. The plunge rate, maybe go to about 10 inches per minute. That should give me a pretty good cut, because the cutter I'm using for the keyhole is actually, it's pretty crappy. It's like a Craftsman bit or something, but it works out pretty well. Okay. So for the cutting depth, I use that same 0.32 inches for my max depth, and then I use no offset for my offset direction. That just makes the cutting path follow the polyline exactly. And that's it. Show simulation, so you can see, I'm not sure why Carbide Create does this. I don't know what that is. I would just ignore it. So basically, your tool path is right here. You're going to start at the 0, come back, drop down, go forward, come back, and come out. And that's exactly what we want for the keyhole operation. We don't want it to come down, go forward, and then try to come out, or else it's gonna try to pick up the stock, and that would be kind of a disaster. So that's my simulation, and it looks pretty good. So I'm gonna go ahead and save this NC file, and then I'm gonna go to my machine and practice and do like a test run, basically, and make sure it's doing exactly what I want it to do before I before I cut this in the actual part. You know, looking at this, I'm probably going to change the depth a little bit because it's pretty shallow. So I'll probably take this down to about 3/8 of an inch to where it comes to about you know, the middle of the part. But it really depends on what stock you're using and what size keyhole bit you're using. Also, you got to take that into consideration when you make your tool path. So I'm gonna go ahead and make that adjustment, and then I'm gonna go to my machine and show you how that looks.